What's good, my idol monglers? Before anything happens, can we appreciate this fresh cut my barber gave me? Oh my goodness, I'm rocking the man bun today. Obviously, I'm probably gonna be rocking that for a while, but oh my goodness, this cut is fire, bro. My barber did me well. Okay, now for the topics of today's video, monglers. We are doing a hot takes video. This is actually a comment suggested by one of you. Thank you very much for this comment. This was fucking brilliant. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna say my hot takes here. I want all of you to comment down your hot takes. It could be anything about manga, anime. You know, I'll even take fucking comics and like superheroes and shit. Really anything about media. I'll even take music. Fuck it, you know? I'll even take don't do politics. But any hot take, really. And I want you to comment down below. And maybe not next video, but a video after, I'm going to be reacting to them, or I'm just not gonna make that video and I'm just gonna comment down below on your comment or something. I don't know. I'll probably make that video. I just don't know how I do it because my editing skills are legit like zero, like just like nothing. Like my editing is like, I actually don't know how to edit anything. I go on my phone, I record the video, I stop and I put it on YouTube. That's all I do. So I don't know how I would like post the comments on screen. I'll have to look it up how to do that shit on iMovie or something. But I'll figure it out. I'll definitely figure it out. I have 10 hot takes for you. 10 very spicy hot takes, kind of. Some of them are about like manga as a whole, but some of them are very specific to certain manga. And others are just, you know, here or there. Here's my first hot take. At the start of a manga, art matters more than story, in my opinion. Now, what I mean by this is when I'm starting a manga, the art is what grips me in first. If the shit got good art, that's gripping me in before story, plot, whatever. It's gonna be the art. That's what's gonna, you know, turn on my monkey brain and be like, okay, now I have to give this a fair shot. Let me give you an example. I can't think of an example right now, but I know they exist. You know what? A good example is Blue Lock. Blue Lock, starting off, had incredible art. I mean, the art is definitely better now, but the art is very, very good. But honestly, I don't know if I would have made it past the third volume or whatever if the art wasn't as good. If the art was like, I don't even know, elusive samurai kind of art where it's fine, but it's pretty average, I probably would have not kept reading. And moments itself definitely would not have hyped me up just as much. Art is very, very important to me. And honestly, I think it's a lot more important than people say it is. Like, art is the medium at which you are looking at. Why wouldn't it be important, you know? And stories can be told through artwork. So it's not like imagine Gachi Akuda with like Haikyuu's art style. Like, that shit would just look so off. Like, obviously the Gachi Akuda style, it's all the grungy and deep and dark and sketchy and just feels dirty like the fucking trash world they live in. Obviously that fits better than something like a happy-go-lucky art style like Haikyuu's. Obviously the art matters very, very much. So in the beginning of a story, honestly, the art tells me a lot more than what the characters are talking about. Okay, that is my first hot take. Number 2, and this one is kind of to come off the first one, art style matters way more than actual art quality. And I'll give you an example. I personally do not like the One Punch Man art. I know. Honestly, that's kind of a mini hot take. I personally do not like the One Punch Man art. And I'll tell you why. I don't like the art style. That's it. That's genuinely just it. I can tell looking at it, the art is incredible. Like, the art is fantastic. I just look at it and I'm like, the art, fantastic, super detailed, looks super good. Characters are super, super dynamic. Everything looks beautiful. But when I'm reading and I'm looking at the characters and I'm looking at the world and I'm looking at everything else, I don't like the art style. The art style is super, super plain. And I just can't get behind it. This is different from, I mentioned before, Gachi Akuda and Blue Lock that maybe, you know, like scientifically on paper, I mean, manga is literally on paper, but you know what I mean? Like, on paper, without execution, One Punch Man is better than both of these manga. But I considerably like those two mangas art more because their art style are a lot more unique. I literally mixed around the N and the U in unique. How did I do that? Unique, as well, they fit the story in tone a lot more than One Punch Man, in my opinion. This also has to do a lot with like Versus. Versus has an incredible art style I absolutely love. Same as Trillion game. Trillion's art style is incredible. And there's some manga out there, like I don't own this one, but Land of the Illustrious and Full Night, that yes, aren't winning any awards, but their art styles stand out so much and fit the world so perfectly. I enjoy those way more than like I guess like a One Punch Man or like I don't know, let me look here. Like a Vinland Saga. Like I enjoy those way more than like a Vinland Saga art style because I'm not a big fan of the Vinland Saga art style. I enjoy those way more art-wise than the Vinland Saga manga because I just don't like the art style of Vinland Saga. All right, number 3. And this one is very specific to a certain manga. Food Wars actually has well-written characters. I know. We all hate on Food Wars or whatever. I genuinely don't see why. I mean, I get why. Like, I understand why. But genuinely, I think when people think of well-written characters, they just think of deep characters that make you cry. That's not just the only spectrum of well-written characters. You don't need like a cast of extreme dynamic characters to be well-written characters. I mean, it definitely works. It definitely helps. But they don't need to be super, super dynamic, round, fucking deep thinkers, thoughtful, philosophical art masterminds. You know, like you can have other forms of characteristics that make characters, quote unquote, well written. Now, in my opinion, what makes a character well written is, does their personality, does their character fit within the actions that are taking place in the story, and does it feel correct for them to be placed in that situation? I know that's a lot of mumbo jumbo, but that is my personal definition of a well-written character. For example, would Hinata from Haikyuu, I feel like the story would be a lot worse if Hinata was not as bubbly or as, eccentric or energetic as he is in the manga. But his enthusiasm as well, his energetic I don't know the fucking word. How energetic he is, how happy he is, how bright he is, just as a person, just how optimistic he is, really helps, connect him with the theme of the story. As well, Kageyama is a great foil to Hinata. Now, if Hinata was some regular schmuck who was just a super downer and super pessimistic, it wouldn't work well with the tone of the story at all. And I would classify Hinata as a badly written character. So, let's take that back to Food Wars. I believe the Food Wars characters, in that definition, are well written. Soma Yukihira is genuinely the craziest mix of an underdog I've ever seen. It is such a cool idea of what the author created Soma as. Like, he's an underdog because he doesn't have as much money as everyone else. He doesn't have the skills. He doesn't have the facilities that everyone else has. But he's extremely cocky and extremely stubborn. So him placed into the story works well, counterbalancing every other character, because most of the other characters are very snotty rich people who change from Soma's food. So I would classify Soma as a well-written character. As well, Megumi, who is kind of the opposite of Soma, but also kind of the opposite of everyone else. So she's this great middle aspect to the entire story. She gets a lot of great character development within the story. She makes sense to be in the story. She's great. I love her character. Erina, especially later on, has some amazing scenes with her mother, and changes from characters like Megumi and Soma and reflects on them and actually becomes a better person and starts to care more about people. These characters are not super, super deep that are going to make you cry and fucking bawl your eyes out or whatever, but they make sense within the story, they reflect their themes, and are overall rootable. So, in my opinion, they are good written characters. Next, number 4. The story could be perfect, but if it has a bad ending, it ruins it. In my opinion, if the ending is shit, it ruins the entire manga. I can't think of a great example. Honestly, I can't think of a great example because most of the manga I've read have incredible endings. But I do know 2 manga that just ended recently that a lot of people that a lot of people say the endings are bad. And I haven't read them yet, but I'm just assuming. It is Jujutsu Kaisen and My Hero Academia. And every motherfucker who has read those 2 manga has said the ending is shit. Now, well, one, the ending can change based off if you're reading digitally or physically. Because usually in physical manga, it'll end and then there'll be a lot of like side story, like extra stuff the author will add in to make the ending a little bit better. So, there's a little caveat there. And I heard that it actually got a lot better with My Hero Academia because the end of the volume stuff was very, very good. But I'm going to bring, the opinion over to JJK. Nowadays, right now, what does everybody talk about JJK? It's either the ending was absolute shit or Gojo is hot. That's literally the only discourse about JJK that I see. Now, does that equate with an ending, good or bad, ruining an entire manga? No. But I do think it does show a purpose of endings matter a lot more than the rest of the story because the ending is the climax. It's what's being built from everything. And you can sway your audience differently. You can give your audience trust. You can give your audience distrust throughout the entire manga. You can do whatever you want through that entire story. But the ending needs to be satisfying. I'll give it another example. Do people talk about Tokyo Avengers before any of the bad shit? No. I don't hear a peep. All I hear are the ending was shit. It fell off. Do people talk about Attack on Titan after it ended? No. The ending was shit. It fell off. The ending, in my opinion, I'm not very good at explaining shit, by the way. The ending, in my opinion, matters so much more than anything else that come before it because everything else that comes before it is technically building up to the ending or the climax. Usually the ending is the climax or it's very, very close to there. If you've ever seen you've probably seen this in school, but there's a very basic pyramid of exposition, rising action, climax, falling action. There's a big misconception that rising action and falling action are the same length. Rising action could be 150 volumes. Falling action could be half a chapter. And then there's resolution. So the climax is the ending. The climax is the ending. And if the climax is not good, everything building up to that, the rising action, is not good. It would be like if in One Piece, Luffy didn't get the One Piece and died to fucking Wapple. That would ruin the entire manga. That would actually ruin every single little thing this story has built up. Now that's an extreme example. Oda would never write that, but it proves my point, kind of. Number 5. Oh, this is kind of a crazy one. I can't believe I've written this down. I can't believe I thought of this one, but I honestly kind of believe it. Mashle is better than One Punch Man. I know. That's crazy to say. I've been kind of hating on One Punch Man in this video. I don't hate it. I actually I like One Punch Man a lot. I just read volume 4 of One Punch Man, and I'm on volume 3 of Mashle. And out of the 4 volumes I've read of One Punch Man and the 3 volumes of Mashle I've read, Mashle is superior in 70% of ways. Genuinely, I have so much goddamn fun with Mashle. Mashle has the craziest, I don't even know what you would call it. I mean, I just can't think of the word. But it's the thing of the story. The fucking, not the reason. Why am I thinking of the reason? Whatever. It has the craziest, idea of, the story, I guess, is what I'm saying. Or this fucking dude doesn't have magic, like, in this, world of all magic, and he gets kind of outcast from society and has to go into hiding. And instead of it being, like, a very emotional story about how he has to outsmart everybody else around him and, like, be the best version of himself and do twice, 3 times, 4 times as much work as everybody else, he just gets super fucking jacked and then just beats everybody. That was hilarious. There's so many bits relating to just magic that are so fucking funny. I actually almost died when the brother chucked the broom and jumped on it and looked like he was flying. That shit was so fucking funny. Like, so many bits that Mashle does that are incredible. And honestly, I'll take it over One Punch Man, because right now what I'm reading, it seems like One Punch Man is more focused on the world building right now, but Mashle doesn't really need to worry about that because it kind of just goes, it's a magical world, do what you want. So Mashle's just getting to the action a lot quicker than One Punch Man is, and I'm assuming that, oh god, someone's calling me. I don't know who that is, so fuck them. And I'm assuming at the end of Mashle, when I read more of One Punch Man, it's definitely going to outclass Mashle. But right now, where I'm at in both Mashle and One Punch Man, even though Mashle is the cheap copy, it's better than One Punch Man in my opinion. At least of what I'm reading so far. Number 6, this isn't even a controversial one. I think most people would agree. Beastars is not furry bait. You're just scared. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, when someone reads or watches, it's more watches, because I feel like if you look at the first volume of Beastars and, like, read it and don't like it, it's like, what did you think you were getting yourself into? But when people watch it, the biggest complaint I hear, there's 2 actually. One, it's pretentious, which fully understand. If you say Beastars is bad because it's pretentious, fully understand it. Characters talk like they're in a fucking soap opera. Fair enough. But if someone looks me in the eye one more time and says Beastars is shit because it's a bunch of furries, I might just kill him. Like, genuinely, I might just kill him. Not genuinely, like, I'm not gonna kill him. I'm not. But, like, genuinely, he's gonna have to say goodbye to his family tonight because they're being shipped out. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is people, and when I mean people who hate Beastars, are not brave anymore. Just read the fucking manga. Just read the manga. Like, actually just read the manga. I know, I don't like furries either. I'm gonna be honest, I don't like furries either. I think it's weird as shit. But I'm gonna look past that and be like, this manga is incredible. If you legit go past the first 2 volumes, it's incredible read. Genuinely. And it does use the furry bait, or like the aspect of it, like having a bunch of animals, to its advantage. I mean, the story is really all about this entire world full of animals, kind of like a Zootopia, where these animals go through very, very similar problems to us in our day-to-day lives. And I love the world building presented in this furry stuff, in this furry shit, in this furry land. That, like, there's predators and there's carnivores and herbivores, and there's also fish people, and those are very, very different carnivores and herbivores. And carnivores, herbivores have to figure out how to get along, and they have very trouble doing that because obviously carnivores are going to have very, very strong instincts to eat them, and then the ending is just beautiful, and there's this huge problem. And how do carnivores and herbivores realistically become friends? How does that work? Like, what is this secret deep tension between the two? It's all super, super interesting. And if you're gonna throw it all away just to be like, it's furries, I don't want to read it, I mean, okay, I'm being dramatic. Realistically, if you came up to me and were like, I don't want to read it, it's furry stuff, whatever. But people who read it and say it's bad, like, tell me something else. Tell me another reason why it's bad. Genuinely tell me another reason why it's bad. Okay. One more thing about Beastars. When someone asks, why is there so much sex in the manga? The author needs some kind of visual representation of devouring without eating other people. Like, I love the coping mechanism Legoshi and Haru have to go through with each other based off their personal sex lives. Where Haru like keeps having sex with more and more people because she's so physically weak. She feels the only time that she's equal with someone else is when they're having sex. And then Legoshi feels so strong and he just wants to be like everybody else, that he has no sex whatsoever and gets nervous at the thought because he wants to be on other people's level, is so incredible. And I love how Legoshi's this tall, gigantic wolf and Haru's a small little bunny rabbit, and they legit complete each other. Incredible romance, by the way. Like, Beastars is just genius. Go read it. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's bad because of furry bait. All right, number 7. Manga does not use art well enough in their writing. Now, what does that mean? Because art and writing, I've kind of made clear, are two different things, but in my opinion, they are not. And what this is really saying is, a big problem I have with manga is when art, like the panel before it, will tell the entire story, exactly what they're thinking, and basically says everything about the character, like especially in emotional moments. I found this most with Oshinoko. Oshinoko could legit remove like half of their text bubbles and I'd still understand the story. Because art is a visual medium. I'm not stupid. I can understand the story, the characters, the plot through the art at least a little bit. When a character is crying, I know they're sad. When a character is doing this, when a character is, punching other people, I know they're either angry or very aggressive. You don't need to tell me that. You don't need to use words. It's not like a book where literally the only way you can say things are words. Manga both has words and art, and I don't think mangakas use both of those well enough. And my main issue in Oshinoko, I'm gonna spoil the first volume of Oshinoko, but whatever. It's where Ai dies. She, gets stabbed in the stomach, and she's about to die, and she's holding both of her children, and it's an incredibly sad moment. And this is the one moment in Oshinoko where I was like, they're using the art to tell the story because it's sad. They're holding her. Ruby is being blocked off. It's incredible foreshadowing how Ruby is blocked off from Aqua, and then like the mother's like I don't want to say relationship. I don't mean it like that, but you know what I mean. Like relationship, like she's being blocked off from the family. She's being let out. It's incredible foreshadowing and great imagery. It's insane. And then she goes, Aqua, I love you. And that was fucking beautiful and brilliant. Because for the entire manga, she said, I can't tell you that I genuinely, I've never been able to tell someone I love them personally, which I also have a problem with because I could definitely just show that through panels of her like eyes, like being like, I would have loved if they showed like her star eyes when she actually loves something, and then like when she doesn't love something, they don't show her star eyes. That would be so fucking amazing, and you don't have to use any dialogue for that. You could have shown me. And maybe she only has a star eyes when she's performing because she actually loves performing or whatever. But I know that's the point of Oshinoko. And then she said something that pissed me off so goddamn much. She goes, I was finally able to say it genuinely. And then she dies. Why did you have to ruin it like that? I understand she was finally being able to say it genuinely. I understand that. I'm not stupid. Well, I'm stupid. I'm dumb. But I'm not stupid. Like, come on. And then it actually feels insulting when you introduce a line like that. As well, you could have made it up to interpretation whether she was lying or being truthful. Like, imagine the like scene I just showed you where her eyes light up when she's like truthfully in love and their eyes don't when she's not in love. Maybe they cut off the panel of her eyes so you can't tell whether she was being genuine or not. So you as the reader has to either put your trust in Ai or not put your trust in Ai. And we can speculate as readers, did she really love her kids? Did she say it genuinely? What does this mean for the story? What is this kind of interpretation? Maybe at the end it shows that maybe it's a twist, I never loved them or something. That could be an incredible way to write the manga. I would have loved that. And I just came up with that on the spot. I swear to God. I'll put my hand on a Torah. I do not care. I came up with that on the spot. But instead, the manga has other plans. and does the exact shit I didn't want it to do, which is draw out literally every fucking scene with words. I can tell it from the images. Your art is beautiful. I can read it from the art. Like, you don't have to write this shit every single fucking time. Yeah, that pissed me off. That actually, like, pisses me off when manga do that. All right, number 8. This one goes back to Food Wars, kinda, but it kind of goes for every manga. Fan service does not equal bad character. I think this is pretty self-explanatory. I think people mostly agree with this. I was just kind of trying to come up with 10 hot takes. I mean, if that was true, Nami and Robin wouldn't be well-written characters. Zoro wouldn't be a well-written character. That man is like shirtless every single fucking arc. Let's see, Gojo would not be a well-written character. Basically, the entire cast of Food Wars has ended up naked once, so they would not be well-written. Let me think. What other house? I mean, there's Fire Force and stuff, but I don't know. I don't really see like Fire Force. Like, there's a difference between a character that has fan service, but is still well written. But there's also characters that are just there for fan service. Like, I know in Soul Eater, there's like this witch cat lady. She's literally just there to get you hard. That's actually just it. That is like the one instance where I'm like, that is literally just a character to get you hard. For legit no reason. I'm not trying to get hard while I watch Soul Eater. What's your fucking problem? I'm just trying to read Soul Eater. She's literally just there for that. And then maybe like comedy, if you want to call it that. But I don't find her funny. Especially because the kids are like 12 years old. Like, that's fucking crazy. Like, there's barely any characters that, especially nowadays in manga, I feel like there are like no characters like that are just made for fan service, like that are coming out right now. But you know, like what I'm saying, just because a character has fan service does not mean they're bad. Unless it's like, but a character that's badly written can't have fan service. Like, I'm not saying all characters that have fan service are good written characters. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if a good character is, you know, fan serviced, or, you know, is showing like nude or whatever, or lewd, whatever you want to say, it doesn't mean they're not well written. I'm pretty sure everyone can agree on that, though. I'm pretty sure we can all agree on that. All right, number 9. This one is more from like a business standpoint, and this is kind of just me looking out for the writers. Manga should strictly be partner-based, so it's not one overworked person. I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory, but I just believe the best manga, not even the best manga, but like if you want, like, manga should now, like right now especially, be made with author artist, especially because you have like a million, like super popular manga can have like 10 editors now. So you can literally have 11 people working on the art while one person works on the writing. Because I feel like, because how I view it is 70% storyboarding, 30%, like 29% inking, 1% like thinking of the story. I feel like most manga authors know what they want to write, and maybe it'll take a little bit for them to write it, but it shouldn't take like conceivably that long. I mean, you know, you can't rush perfection, but like also if I have a week to make something, I am finishing like the script of it in the first 30 minutes. I am immediately going to the art, which, you know, makes the one author overworked, like incredibly. So what does that mean? In my opinion, we should have manga that are strictly author writes the entire manga. Maybe he does the storyboarding too. And an artist, he does all the inking, he does all the drawing. He makes everything happen. He makes all the magic happen. And then maybe, if you want, if they're still overworked, you're gonna have 2 artists. Because I at least of what I hear that art is like the hardest part of making manga. It's not the writing. I mean, you know, writing is incredibly important, but it's way more important than art and overall scheme. But the art is harder to make. So I would just say get a partner, do it. And that's easier said than done, obviously. I feel like if every author could get a partner just like that, they would. But I mean, I'm just looking at like the Blue Lock author. The Blue Lock author has worked with like 10 different artists on 10 different manga. And the brother has made an incredible manga. Blue Lock, Jagan, We Did It, Super Ball Girls, fucking The Gods one. What is it called? The Gods With Us or something like that. Whatever. All right. My final hot take, and then I want to read all your hot takes when this video is eventually posted. Tokyo Avengers is actually so good. I genuinely don't see why people hate on it. I actually don't know why people hate on it. And I know why people hate on it. It's the final arc. But holy shit, bro. Like, Tokyo Avengers is so fucking good like the like from the third volume to like volume fucking 14 of the omnibuses, like incredible. Genuinely such a good stretch of form. It's insane. And the main criticism I hear of Tokyo Avengers, pre it being shit, like actual shit, apparently, I haven't read it yet, but pre being actual shit is the it's too predictable. Which I understand, but like that's like saying a manga is absolute garbage because you dislike one character. Like, it's predictable, yes, and that can be a negative, but that's not a reason to take a 10 out of 10 to a 0 out of 10. I'm not saying Tokyo Avengers is a 10 out of 10, it has other problems, but that's not a reason to take a 10 out of 10 to a 0 out of 10. That's a reason to take 10 out of 10 to 8 out of 10. Like, I could say Haikyuu is predictable. It's still my favorite manga of all time, and it's actually kind of not. Kind of, depends on the match, but like, if I said Haikyuu is, let's say Haikyuu is super predictable, I knew who won every single match. Haikyuu, to the lowest, and I'm talking like I could predict literally every single thing, would move down to an 8 out of 10. For me, Tokyo Avengers is not Haikyuu, but it's like such a minor problem for such a major fall off. Now, other complaints I hear is it has a bunch of plot holes. Honestly, if you're not a critic, I don't know why plot holes even matter. Like, genuinely, unless you're noticing them in the actual reading it, I feel like most plot holes, like most people like recognize the plot holes when they look up the manga they're reading and then they find the plot holes somewhere on the internet, and then they're like, holy shit, that shit does not make any sense. Huh, weird. And then they start thinking about it, and then they're like, okay, now it's bad now. Because I've suddenly like realized the plot holes. Like, I'll find plot holes here and there when I watch shows or I read manga or whatever, but like when people are complaining about plot holes, it's 99.9% of the time it's because they found it somewhere on the internet and they fucking realized it. In the moment, plot holes do not matter, especially like unless you're rereading it. Then like obviously. All right, and those are my hot takes. The last one didn't kind of make any sense, but it's kind of like an argument against the endings matter more than the entire story. It's more of like a endings. I know in my head endings do matter more than the entire story. But I'm still pissed that my brain thinks that way, and I still want to enjoy the rest of the manga, even if the ending is shit. And I've heard like manga like Yu Yu Hakusho has like an actual garbage ending. So I'm not gonna get into that though. Yeah, this is the end of the video. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm trying to hit 1K by the end of the year, but I'm at like, by the time filming this, I'm like 995. So I'm pretty sure by when this comes out, I'll have 1,000. And if so, I'm going to record the Give Me Your Manga Recommendation video now, because I can just do that and I'll release it later. And then I'll record the collection video, and then I'll also probably record the discussion video. And it'll take me a while, but I'm going to record all of those today. My voice will be gone, but I'm going to record all of those today. If you made it to the end of the video, put the prayer hand emoji. Put the prayer hand emoji. Pray with me. Yeah. I'll see. Bro, this cut is so fucking fresh. All right, I'll see you later.